Hi, my dear students. Today we will learn about flip-flops. In our previous classes, we learned about many types of digital circuits, including basic units, gates, and half adder and full adder. Okay, in all these circuits, we see that if you change the input, the output also changes. Okay, so basically, in a digital circuit, if you change the input corresponding to it, the output also changes. Okay, but sometimes we need a circuit that remains unchanged even if the input changes. Okay, such a device can be used to store a binary bit. A flip-flop is a circuit which is used to store a binary bit. Okay, so in this lecture we will learn about these flip-flops. Okay, so in these flip-flops it is used to store binary bit. Okay, so flip-flops are used to store binary bits. Now, in this case, the output remains unchanged even if the input changes. Okay, so this device or circuit can be used to store a binary bit. Okay, to store a binary bit. So we can use flip-flops to store a binary bit. Okay, now these flip-flops, we can model a flip-flop, a simple flip-flop using two inverters. We already learned about inverter, not gate. Okay, so it is just like any bistable device can be used as a switch. Okay, now for this purpose we can use a bistable device. Okay, bistable device can act as switch. Okay, can act as switch. Okay, usually we say that switches have memory, because if you intentionally put switch on or off, it continues with its state. So the switches have memory. Okay, switches have memory. So in the case of we can think about a flip-flop just like a switch. So the system, the flip-flop it is a device, it is a circuit which has two stable states. That means it is a bistable device. Okay, a flip-flop is a bistable device. It can act as a switch. This is a simple example for a simple example is switch. Okay, simple example for a flip-flop is a switch, because switch has memory. Unless you intentionally change its state, it continues with its initial state. Okay. Two inverters can act as a switch. Okay. So now this is an inverter. Let me call this as inverter A. Okay. And now its output is connected to another inverter like this. Okay. We can call this one as inv B. Now there is a feedback like this. Okay. The output of inverter B is connected back to inverter A. Okay. This is a simple circuit of a flip-flop which can store the input in binary bit. For example, suppose this input of this A is initially 0. Okay. For example, suppose there is no feedback and our circuit is like this. Inverter A and this invert B. Okay. This is invert A. Suppose this is grounded. Grounded means its input here is 0 and so there is 1 here and it goes to in this part again 0. Okay. Inverter B. Inverter B. So what happens if you give 0 here, it holds 0 here. Now if you disconnect this ground and connecting output back to this, it can hold the input, the binary bit 0 as itself. Okay, there is no change to this value. Instead of this 0, you can give here plus 5 volt like this, plus 5 volt. Then what happens? If you give plus 5 volt, that means here it is 1, right? So the output of this inverter A is 0. This drives this to again to 1 or plus 5 volt here also. Okay, so now if you connect this feedback again like this, it can hold the value 1 or plus 5 volt throughout. Okay, this is a simple flip-flop circuit. Two inverters in series. Okay. Now, instead of these two inverter circuits, we can use two NAND gates or NOR gates to connect in this way. It can act as a flip-flop. Okay. So, I can modify this inverter circuit now with two inputs. You know that this inverter has only one input. Now, we want to give two input circuit. So, flip-flop using NOR gate. Okay, so I can write here. This is the first case is using inverter. Okay, inverter. We can construct RS flip-flop using two NOR gates. Okay, so initially we see that we can construct flip-flop using two inverters, but in that case you know that only one input is for an inverter, but this time for NOR gate there are two inputs. Okay, so I can show you the circuit diagram. First of all, I am showing you the NOR gate like this. This is the symbol for NOR gate. Okay, and now this output of this NOR gate is connected to the input of second NOR gate like this. This one also has two inputs. See? Okay. Now you know that we need a feedback. So from here to here we give feedback like this. Suppose this is Q and this is Q bar. This input is called R and this input is S. Okay. This is a flip-flop circuit using two NOR gates. Now we want to check how this works. This flip-flop works. Okay. For that, we can write this truth table. So there are two inputs. So I can show you here R and S. Then output Q and its action. Okay. And its action. I don't want to write Q bar because what is Q? Its complement is represented here by Q bar. Okay. Now the first two cases are R equal to 0 and S equal to 0. You know that if the input is 0, there is no change for this output. Okay. So one of the input is 0. Here is one of the input is a 0. So due to this, the output of this NOR gate depends only on this one. Because one is the other inputs are zeros. Okay. So in this case, the circuit holds its previous value. Okay. That means if Q is initially 1, it holds 1. If it is initially 0, it holds that one. So I can write here last value. Okay. It holds last value. Or here its action is holds last value. Okay. Holds last value. Now, next combination is 0, 1. 0, 1 means this time the first NOR gate, I can call this as NOR gate A and this is NOR gate B. Okay. In this case, NOR gate A is disabled because this is 0, so no change to this one. But here, this input goes to high. S is high. S is 1. This high means this Q bar should be 0. Okay. Q bar should be 0. Q bar should be 0 means what happens to this? Q bar is feedback is coming to this point. So both inputs are 0. These both inputs are 0 means Q goes to high. In this case, Q goes to high. If this is initially 0, this changes to high. Okay. So this is called set. Okay. If it is, suppose in this case initially Q is already high, then there is no change, it is remains same. Because you can see that if initially Q is high, then also this NOR gate gives you 0 here and it comes here, it holds like that. Okay, so this condition is called set condition. That means if the output of the NOR gate A, NOR A is 0, it is set to high, set to 1. Otherwise, it remains 1. So, this condition is called set condition. Okay, now we can check the next combination, 1, 0 combination. Now what happens? R equal to 1 and S equal to 0. We already know that if input is 0, it cannot make any change to this circuit. Okay, so Q bar remains same. At the same time, this R is 1. R is 1 means what happens? This gate gives Q low value. Okay, Q is low. Q is low means both these are low and so Q bar is high. Okay, so in this case, Q is low. This is called reset condition. Reset condition. Okay, so when R is high, this gate is enabled and Q is low. And if this Q is low, this Q bar is high. Okay, the feedback comes to here and this is false. So this condition is called reset condition. Finally, the last combination is 1-1 combination. That means both inputs are high. If both inputs are high, both gates are enabled. Now the problem comes. What happens now? Now both gates trying to make their output high. Sorry, output low. Because R equal to 1. So this circuit tried to make Q low. At the same time, this circuit make Q bar low. But by definition, this should be complement of this. So this is undefined condition in the case of RS flip flop. Okay, unfavorable, undefined, not defined. Okay, not defined condition. So in this case, we can't predict what happens to the system, but value it says simultaneously both gates try to make the same value. Okay, this is the drawback of this RS flip flop. In this case, this is the drawback. When these both inputs are high, we can't predict what should be the output of this RS flip flop. Okay, so this is one type of flip flop. We already studied that. We already discussed that. A switch can act as a flip flop. For that, we can make use of two inverters, and we just replace the inverter with a NOR gate. Okay, that's what we have discussed here. Now you can draw this circuit in a much more simple form by using an upper and lower gates. I can show you here. Usually we draw this RS flip flop like this. This is R, okay, and now this is our second gate. This is Q bar, okay, and now there are two inputs like this. This is S input. Now what is the condition? We already learned that one input of this gate should be output of the second gate like this. Okay, similarly here this is S, so you can draw like this. Okay, this is the same circuit drawn in another way. Okay, using the same circuit, using the same feedback. Okay, this is the typical diagram for a RS flip flop. Okay, now the third type is JK flip flop. Okay, here this flip flop has a clock input also. Okay, and this can act as a counter. Okay, this circuit can act as a counter. Okay, and the difference between this RS and JK mainly is this flip flop is driven by a clock input. Okay, clock input. So here we use two AND gates. Okay, circuit is drawn here. This is one AND gate with 3 inputs. This is the second AND gate with 3 inputs. Okay. Now one of the inputs to both these gates are a clock. Okay, clock. So this is a clock signal, and now in order to make it a spike, I can use an RS circuit, R coupled RC circuit. Okay, in order to make it a spike, okay, positively driven JK flip flop is shown, drawing here. Okay, and this is Q, and this is Q, and this is Q bar. Okay, Now we have to give the feedback as usual. This one gives to here and this one is connected to here. This input is J and this input is K. JK. This flip-flop is called JK flip-flop. Now there are three inputs for these two AND gates. One of them is clock and this gate acts only for positive spikes of this clock signal. Okay. Now we can check how this one works. Okay. So I can draw the truth table here. JK and Q. Okay. Now if one more input is here, there is clock, so I can write here clock, CLK for clock. Okay. Now you know the behavior of AND gate. If one of the input is 0, there is no output for AND gate. It is always low, right? So for any clock, if either clock is positive or negative, that is not a problem. For any clock, if both J and K are low, Q should be low. Oh, these two gates disabled. Disabled means Q can hold its last value. Okay? Q can hold its last value. That means these two gates can't operate. Both gates are disabled. Okay? Now, suppose we change these inputs. That means the next combination 0 and 1. This time, all other combination works only for positive clocks. That is what we meant by arrow pointing upward, positive clock signal. Okay? In this case, you can see that this J input is 0. So, whether this one is positive or negative, this gate is disabled. At the same time, here this K input is high. Okay? So, if this Q is high, this gate is enabled. Okay? So, for this combination, positive clock and K equal to 1, this one is positive, this one is positive, that means K equal to 1. And if this Q is also 1, okay, these gates operate and Q bar changes to high. If this Q bar is high, this goes to this part and again this Q is 0. Okay, that means in this combination 0 and 1, Q should be 0. Okay. Similarly, the next combination is again for positive pulse. All other combination runs only for positive pulse. In that case, this 1-0 combination. Now what happens? This time K is 0, so this gate is disabled. But here J is high, and for positive clock, this 2 is high. And if this Q bar is also high, this gate is enabled. Okay, so this gate is enabled means Q drive to high value and so Q bar to low value. So this is high and Q bar is low. Okay, so this condition corresponds to reset. This condition corresponds to set. Okay, now the last combination is 1-1, right? 1-1. Now what happens? We already discussed our previous case, RS case. Here, if both inputs are high, they toggle each other. Toggle means for each positive clock, the output of Q changes its complement. That means if Q is 0, it changes to 1. If it is 1, it changes to 0. So for each positive clock pulse corresponding to these both high inputs, these outputs toggles. Okay. So in the case of JK flip-flop, this is defined and this is called toggling. Okay, the last case is called toggling. Okay, this is the operation of JK flip-flop. This can act as a counter, because this counter means this counts the number of positive clocks or negative clocks that drives the circuit. In this case, we use AND gates to construct JK flip-flop. So this is positively driven gate. So in this case, for this circuit, this counter counts the number of positive clocks that drives the circuit. Okay, so JK flip-flop can act as a counter. Okay, so I think now I can wind up the things about flip-flop. We learned this as a memory device because it can store a binary bit. So we can model this using a switch. A switch has only two states, either on or off. So switch is called a bistable device. So switch has memory. If we intentionally change its state, then only it can vary from on to off or off to on. Okay. Similarly, if we intentionally change the input or the device, then only its output change. Okay, so we can use a switch as a flip-flop which can store a binary bit. Okay, then we construct a flip-flop using two inverters. Then we modify the circuit using two NOR gates. Then we call it as RS flip-flop. There we reach in a forbidden state or not defined state if both inputs are high. So we just modify again the circuit using three inputs and AND gate. It is called JK flip-flop. One of them is clock or positively driven circuit. Okay. It can act as a counter. So JK flip-flop can act as a counter. Okay. So learn well. Thank you.